In this episode of Walking Tours, I will explore how you can transfer between Bras Basah and Bencoolen MRT stations. The walking transfer between Bras Basah and Bencoolen stations is one of the simplest that can be made within the MRT system. The fastest in-system travel possible between Bras Basah and Bencoolen stations would require commuters to take the Circle Line to Dhoby Ghaut, and then the North East Line to Chinatown, and finally the Downtown Line to Bencoolen, over a duration of at least 14 minutes, and an adult fare of up to $1.15, a needlessly complicated, time-consuming, and costly process for a pair of stations approximately 100 meters apart. Such a walking transfer that I am exploring today would hence be very useful for commuters traveling between the eastern stretch of the Downtown Line and places near this city stretch of the Circle Line, both which have notoriously poor connectivity with other lines where it comes to official interchanges. The two aims of this video series, Walking Tours, is to explore possible options for such a transfer to be made, and whether the transfer can be made within the 15 minutes grace period, so that cheaper distance fares applies. On an official MRT walking map produced by the Land Transport Authority back in 2017, it was alleged that the journey from Bras Basah to Bencoolen would take 2 minutes, supposedly from Fairgates to Fairgates. Let's see whether that is actually the case. After about 2 minutes of walking, I've traveled from the platform level to the concourse level and past the Fairgates. So far, I've seen some good amenities which you may be thinking of using in the midst of this transfer, such as a little convenience store and the ATM machine. Thus far, the journey has been pretty comfortable, given that there is air conditioning the whole way through. I am now heading to Exit C of Bras Basah MRT station, which will lead us to an underground linkway that is part of the Singapore Management University's campus, that is, SMU. The walkway makes a gradual incline uphill and is flanked by posters promoting SMU and a few more shops and other amenities. Indeed, a good stopover for food. You can catch a brief glimpse of the outside over here, where natural light is allowed to permeate into the corridor. After all, this walkway is actually not very deep into the underground. Sometimes, you may see youths and young adults hanging out on the floor or whatever seats and tables are located along this underground, air-conditioned passageway. Anyways, the journey on this walkway is about to end soon. I am now turning into Bencoolen Station's concourse level, through Exit C. It's been 2 minutes, so surely I'm almost there. Oh well, not quite. There's still a long corridor over here to walk through, with a gradual downward incline unfortunately. At least there is some art to look at on our way here, I suppose. You may have noticed at this point in time that there is some atrocious video noise in this supposed 4K 60 frames per second video. After all, the journey is somewhat dimly lit, especially on the Circle Line end, which is similar to that of many stations located along that MRT line. On the Downtown Line, lights are slightly brighter, but still a little too dark for this camera. Oh well, I guess dim lighting makes for a more calming experience for commuters. I have reached the first downward escalator. Spoiler alert, there are many more to come. Finally, I have passed the fare gates after about 4.5 minutes. Surely, this transfer is still much faster than the 2 interchange transfers required to move between the 2 stations, but it is actually not as fast as claimed by LTA. One of the pitfalls of this transfer is relating to a concept of access penalty, the time needed to walk between the station exits and the platform level. While it is understandable that some access penalty would always exist for train services, the access penalty incurred for this transfer in particular is significant. This is due to the depth at which the platforms are located. Bencoolen is currently the deepest MRT station in Singapore, at 43 meters below ground level, and Bras Basah previously held that title as well, before the opening of the Downtown Line. Such depth make for long travel times within the station, as it means that I have to take a lot of escalators to get between the concourse and the platform level. Thus, it results in long transfer times too. This is especially the case given that the concourse level is rather shallow. Of course, you could always take the lift, but it has limited capacity and rather unpredictable waiting times, which is why I would not be taking any lifts in this series of videos. Finally, I am now approaching the Downtown Line platform, right down at basement 6. With that, we have came to the end of this episode of Working Tours. This is Transit Evolution signing off.